Membership has its privileges. That old tagline from the American Express commercials in the late 80s and into the 90s was a way of persuading us that if we were to carry a certain little green charge card, we would be among the privileged class. You will have doors open for you that are closed to others. You will be an insider, while others will not. It was all about status, and it can all be yours for a nominal yearly fee, plus interest. There's something about being on the inside, on being in the know. And we like insider status, do we not? To get tips or information before anyone else, be it about a sale at Nordstrom's or injury news that could impact your fantasy football draft. Maybe we get word about a job opening in our career field before it's posted on the internet. Or about a house in the neighborhood that is coming up on the market in a few weeks. Get your offer in now. I even follow a blog that gives regular updates on new barbecue joints before the word gets out to the public. And no, I'm not going to tell you what it is. We crave information, and we want it now. If you snooze, you lose. We want to be among the cool kids, not those chumps waiting in line. And this thirst to be in the know has been around since the beginning of time, really. After all, what was the serpent really selling Eve on, if not insider status? Psst, go ahead, eat the apple. You'll be like God. You'll be in the know. It continues today in our gospel from St. Luke that we just heard. When an unknown person from the crowd asked Jesus, who, remember, is on the road to Jerusalem, on his way toward the cross, someone cries out from the crowd and says, "Lord, will only a few people be saved?" ? This person seems to be drawn to Jesus as a religious leader. And in that first century in which he lived, a devoutly religious person could easily think of themselves and not all those pesky pagans, the great unwashed, that surrounded them. They could easily believe that they were on the right track, entitled, as it were, to a place in the kingdom of God. After all, they took time out of their day to come see, to listen to the master rabbi speak. They even refer to Jesus as Lord. It's a messianic title. To be sure, you don't ask that question, Lord, will many be saved or few be saved? You don't ask that question in that manner unless you're pretty darn sure that you're already in the inside. And as always, Jesus refuses to take the bait, to play the game. It's not important to know how many are saved, he says. Better to know how to get there, to know what is the path. And so he really ignores the question outright. And instead, he speaks almost and answers in a very cryptic manner. Strive to enter through the narrow gate, he says. What is this narrow gate? The gate is Jesus. Remember the parable of the Good Shepherd. We hear it every year on the fourth Sunday in the Easter season. Jesus says that he is the gate. He's the doorway. He's the path to the kingdom of God that lies inside. And the good news of our salvation, sisters and brothers, is that this gate, this door, is always open. Open to all people. Jesus is never closed to us. But remember, it's a narrow gate. There's room for only one person in a narrow gate. You have to enter in through Jesus to come to where you long to be. He's always open, inviting us in. And he does so without distinction, without exclusion, without, wait for it, privilege. Even in our sinfulness, especially in our sinfulness, the gate is open. Jesus is waiting for us, mercifully waiting for us to embrace us. The question is, do we have the courage to enter? Sisters and brothers, think of the many and varied gates that you pass by every day. Many doorways beckon us, entice us, tease us. And they seem to promise so much happiness, comfort, security, a life without pain, only excitement, and yes, even status. But so many of those gates and doors are merely illusions. The so-called self-fulfillment and happiness they promise is fleeting at best, destructive at worst. It fades quickly, and we are left at a dead end of sin. Despite popular belief, all roads do not lead to heaven. So what road do you want to take? What door will you enter? Make no mistake, as I said, Jesus is clear. This is a narrow door. Mere labels won't get you in. Because it's one thing to call ourselves a card-carrying Christian, or to believe that just because we encountered him on our streets or ate in his company once or twice, that we're good to go. No. What is necessary is to enter into and through him. To enter the kingdom is not a byproduct of membership, of privilege, but it's rather a life of service, of dying and rising, the whole of the Paschal mystery. It's an interior disposition to witness outwardly in our prayer, in works of charity, in promoting justice, in offering mercy. And not just for an hour or so on a Sunday morning, but with our whole lives striving to enter through the narrow gate. In the end, Jesus leaves us with a beautiful image of people from the east and the west, the north and the south, all streaming to the table of the Lord, he says. It echoes what we heard in our first reading today from the prophet Isaiah, which describes people of all nations, not just Israel, but all the nations coming to the mountain of the Lord. Our baptism into Christ's life, death, and resurrection calls us likewise to give witness by lives of faith and action, and to invite others to likewise discover the gate that is Christ. Conform your life, your heart to his. Choose willingly the narrow pathway. In doing so, we will come to discover what a privilege and responsibility it is to be a member of God's kingdom, so that one day when our journey comes to an end, the final door, the only gate that really matters, may be opened to us.